She does not need an occasion for 75 years. The gemstone market assumed every significant acquisition required a gift giver and a recipient. The most consequential collector in colored gemstones today has dispensed with that assumption entirely. In 1947, De Beers launched A Diamond is Forever. It was not merely a campaign. It was demand engineering on a civilisational scale, and it worked. The campaign installed a default. The acquisition of a significant gemstone required an occasion. An occasion required a gift giver, typically a man, and a recipient, typically a woman. The buyer was rarely the wearer. For 75 years, the colored gemstone market inherited this architecture. Skyjems, a family trade in fine gemstones established in Toronto in 1967, operated within it, as every serious jewellery house did. That architecture has collapsed. A decade ago, most acquisition inquiries at Skyjems arrived through a gifting lens. A man seeking a stone for a proposal. An anniversary. A milestone. The language was the language of occasion. That language has changed. In recent years, a growing share of colored stone acquisitions have come from a buyer the marketing materials seldom described, women aged 35 to 65, professionally accomplished, acquiring for their own collections, without any gift narrative attached. They arrive already educated. They know what they want. They do not require an occasion to justify the decision. The industry adapted slowly. Marketing adapted last. Colored gemstones have always carried broader cultural registers: heirloom, personal expression, curatorial choice, because they were never fully anchored to the engagement ring frame. The A Diamond is Forever narrative was engineered for diamonds. Sapphires, rubies, spinels, and tourmalines retained a wider meaning. The self-purchasing collector is the natural custodian of colored gemstones. The market is only now acknowledging her as such. The self-purchasing collector's basket is structurally different from the gift purchase basket. Gifts favor the safe and familiar diamond solitaires, classic rubies, standard sapphires. Self-purchases favor the specific. Across Skyjems' self-purchasing clients, 3 patterns have emerged with consistency: Paraiba tourmaline, electric blue-green, structurally rare, almost unknown beyond collectors. Self-purchasers are drawn to it for its geological signal, pure, unmediated by cultural scripts. Paraiba requires no occasion. It requires recognition. Heated Ceylon sapphire at unusual saturation. Not the conventional cornflower blue. Self-purchasers favor teal, Part 1, multicolored, Padparadshah adjacent pinks, and yellow-greens, stones the mainstream market has not yet caught up to. Treatment is fully disclosed. Heated Ceylon at heated Ceylon price is a sound, well-documented acquisition. The collector understands precisely what she is acquiring. Mayhinge spinel and fine red spinel. Historically misidentified as ruby, the Black Prince's ruby in the British crown jewels is, in fact, a spinel. This stone is now being recognized as a category in its own right. Self-purchasers are among the primary buyers driving that recognition. These 3 stones share a single trait: none would be considered a safe gift choice. Each is acquired by a collector who knows what she wants and requires no external validation. The performance basket reflects this reality, though it extends beyond the 3 stones self-purchasers most visibly favor. Its 5 species: heated Ceylon sapphire, Zambian emerald, Mayhinge spinel, Paraiba tourmaline, and heated Afghan Tajik ruby, are curated for a related but distinct purpose. They represent the colored gemstone categories where treatment disclosure is clear, laboratory documentation is standard, and the collector can build a position with confidence across the price spectrum. The 3 stones self-purchasers most consistently choose: Paraiba, heated Ceylon, Mayhinge spinel, form the basket's core. Zambian emerald and Afghan Tajik ruby complete it. They appear less frequently in self-purchaser patterns, but they anchor the basket's breadth and prevent overconcentration in any single species. A serious collection requires range. The allocation framework: at least 20% of a portfolio in hard assets, split evenly between precious metals and colored gemstones, acquired quarterly like an RRSP contribution rather than a lump sum deployment, mirrors a self-purchaser's cadence. It assumes the buyer is also the wearer, the decision-maker, and the principal who will determine what becomes of the collection. This is not a marketing pivot. It is the category describing itself honestly for the first time in 3/4 of a century. When the buyer is also the wearer and the principal, the question of generational transfer changes entirely. The traditional narrative was clear: a man acquires a stone, gives it to a woman, she wears it through a life, and it passes eventually to a daughter or daughter-in-law. The story was shared and understood. The self-purchasing collector writes a different story. Her collection is her own. She may pass it on to a daughter, son, spouse, niece, or charitable foundation, or she may choose to sell individual pieces during her lifetime and direct the proceeds as she sees fit. These choices are hers, built into the acquisition from the first day. The provenance file, the certified laboratory reports, the properly scheduled insurance, these matter more in a self-purchase framework than in gifting, because the collector is building both the asset and the plan for its future. There is no default intergenerational narrative to fall back on. There is only the collection, carefully assembled, clearly documented, and ready for whatever she decides. This is a more considered way to acquire significant gemstones. It may also be the more honest one.